Hello, lost souls. My name is Nyla, and I will be your guide through the abyss. Today, I'm going to talk about certain aspects of awakening that I will be leaving behind, and why that is. Um, I've come to the realization that there are certain aspects of the awakening, the awakened, the awakened community that promote victim blaming, and this is not okay. Uh, Especially as someone who is dealing with mental issues myself. Um, I will not be promoting the idea that uh, you choose your path when you incarnate here on Earth. I'm not going to be promoting the idea that things that happen to you, even if they are abusive, are uh, less teaching or moments of teaching or lessons that you needed to learn. Because because it blames the victim for the um, the abuse or the violence that was put onto them. It also blames people who have mental illnesses, like myself, who cannot fully control their thoughts and their emotions, for having those thoughts and emotions for which they cannot control. It puts blame on you, um, when you are blameless for these issues. It creates a sense of um, self destructive behavior and thoughts, as well as it can lead to certain actions. And I'm pretty sure you know which ones I'm talking about. Not going to mention it because, it's not really YouTube friendly to begin with, so we're not going to get into it, but I know you know what I mean by actions, you know. I'm but yeah, you know what I mean by self-destructive actions. Um but I'm not going to be promoting these ideas moving forward, and will not be promoting people who promote these ideas moving forward either. And that means that unfortunately, the channel known as Concrete Shaman that I've mentioned in uh, previous videos, I will not be advocating for their content or the content that they create, because they push these ideas. And not only do they push these ideas, they're currently pushing pseudosciences like semen retention, and they're also pushing conspiracy theories. Like the dinosaurs don't exist or the moon landing didn't happen. And at the same time, the 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 main uh, creator of the channel, Patrick, who claims to be sober, is um is a nicotine addict. So this guy is promoting soberism while not being sober. He is in himself a hypocrite, because he's not sober. He is addicted to a substance, and I do not condone drugs, alcohol of any kind. I do not promote people um, who say that you should go and do your drugs and alcohol. Um, I don't. I don't align with that anymore. I don't align. I never did align with that, even when I was doing it. Um, it's bad advice. It's really bad advice. And for people to be pushing those ideas, um, it's toxic, and it's not good. And I have, unfortunately been gullible enough to fall into these ideas, um, because of my mental health currently being transgender and having dysphoria. I know I'm not, I'm not really, dressed feminine like I, have been in the past videos. I'm just, I'm doing the cozy, comfy, cozy thing right now because it's winter and it's cold, and I don't really want to dress up just to get on camera. So this is what we're doing. But yeah, I'm not going to be promoting these ideas moving forward, and like I said, I won't be promoting people. I will not be advocating or promoting people who advocate or promote these ideas moving forward on this channel or in my life, period. So, um, while I regret to have to leave a community that seemed very, it seemed very uh, well intentioned. They seem to have a lot of good intentions. There are far too many red flags for me personally going on in that channel's uh spirituality or creation. They seem to be following a lot of YouTube or TikTok trends. They seem to be following what's trendy, talking about what's trendy in order to make money, in order to grow their channel very quickly. I think they're selling out. I think they are. Um, and I think personally, I think they're just um selling people a bunch of feel good stuff right now. I think they're not genuinely into spirituality. Um I think there's a goal behind the channel itself. And this isn't any hate towards them, go make your money, I'm not advocating that you don't, make your money. I'm but I'm not advocating either that you do that disingenuously. Um, so, you know, I don't I don't see myself continuing to promote any type of spiritual awakening uh aspects that you know are aligned with or similar to things like oh, what's it called? Oh, I know the name. I know the name. I know the name. It's right there on the tip of my tongue. Um, the law of attraction. Anything that harbors around the law of attraction, any idea that is similar to or revolves around that type of thinking, I'm not going to be pushing that forward. I will be getting more into therapeutical. and anecdotal evidence um, based spiritual practices that do actually have some support from scientific and psychological uh, doctors and you know and scientists and researchers and all of that. So any types of spirituality that can be seen used in therapy, uh, used in even in Buddhism. I think there's a lot of good stuff in Buddhism. For me, me personally, I think a lot of people have skewed what Buddhists and their teachings actually are for this New Age awakening bullshit. So that's just that's what's going to be going on this channel. I will still be doing readings, but as I said, we're going to be doing readings um based more on therapeutical types of spirituality. Um, Even though I have my beliefs as someone who practices witchcraft, so I probably will be sharing some witchcraft tips here and there. And you're free to if you're not into that, you're free to skip those videos. I'm not gonna try to force y'all to watch something that you're not into. But yeah, um, that's my uh that's my yeah, that's gonna be my mantra. I'm sorry, having some difficulty thinking of the right way to explain this to you guys. That you know, because I'm very aware that a lot of the spiritual community, especially the awakening community, um, excuse me, I just ate and mm, yeah, but the people in the awakening community can be very very much bullyish. They can be very verbally violent online, uh, and they really don't like it when you call out their practices for what they really are. Being that a lot of their practices are based on victim blaming, and I don't advocate for that. I won't be advocating for that in the future. There are videos on here where I talk about that, and I go into these ideas, and those videos will stay up because you know it will show a transition from my thinking back then and to my thinking now, into my realization now of just how harmful these thoughts and these ideas are to people who are going through you know mental problems, who are going through abuse problems, who are survivors of um you know things that I'm not going to say online. But yeah, abuse survivors and whatnot. uh if you are if you are one, and you do fall into this awakening trap of people telling you that um your abusers are really just a big lesson, one big lesson for you to learn. um I would tell you to um move away from that type of content because it's not mentally healthy for you, and it's definitely not emotionally healthy for you. These are very cult-like aspects of the of the awakened community, and their ideas are damaging to the mental and emotional health of everyone who has become a target for these types of people, for these, for that type of content. And don't get it twisted, they really are the people who promote this content, they really are targeting people who do have these kinds of problems, um because they know it's easy. They know how easy it is to target people who are not mentally stable, who are not emotionally stable, and it's disheartening. And I'm disappointed in myself for not having realized it earlier. I believe that the mother Hecate had been trying to warn me about this. Had been trying to show me the red flags of it, and I didn't listen well enough to her warnings about this content, and I would do want to apologize to the goddess Agate, my mother. A mother of which is of which I am devoted to. I do realize that I have made a mistake in promoting this type of content. Um, I realize that you know that I was looking for a way to control the current situation that I'm in right now. Um, and this power fantasy that some people in the awakening community create is very enticing for someone who is looking for a way to control their current situation, um, their current living situations. You know, it is very enticing and it is very addicting. The feeling that you get from this type of content that makes you feel powerful, and it's a power trip. That's what it is. It's a part of the ego that is a power trip. It's a part of the um the illusion of having power that you don't really have. It's an illusion of um taking back control of something that you never had control of to begin with. It's an illusion of the mind, um that is creating a a barrier or a wall around you in order to protect you from reality and the truth of situations that are going on, and that you were or are a victim of something or someone. um and no amount of spiritual enlightenment is going to change that. The ego the ego is not just going to go away. We can use spirituality in order to flip the switch so that the ego is back here, and it is, we have control over this ego. But every once in a while, we're all going to slip up and the ego is going to come forward and it will merge, with the true self. And that's not going to stop happening. Your shadow is never going to truly go away. It's always going to be there. It is always going to be in the back of your mind, even if it is sleeping for, a little while. eventually your shadow is going to reawaken and it's going to show itself to you. And there are a vast number of ways that it can show itself when it awakens, when it comes forward. But the shadow is not a bad thing. Shadow is just the the parts of yourself that you ignore, the parts of yourself that you don't want to acknowledge. It's the parts of yourself that you see as being bad. Um, and granted, there are some things that exist within the shadow that are very much bad. There are thoughts that are very bad, and there are people who do bad things. That reality doesn't change just because you just that reality doesn't change when you become enlightened. It doesn't stop you from being, you know, aware of your true self and aware of the true state, the true natural state of things, and still doing bad things because you think you have superiority over other people. You can be aware and knowledgeable of the true state and the true natural self, um, and still be an egotistical asshole. It doesn't go away. Your ego never goes away. So the people who create this idea that when you awaken, you transcend the ego and it just goes away. That's nonsense. It's bullshit. It's it's the battle with the ego is a never-ending battle. It's a never-ending struggle. It is always going to be there. Like I said, with the shadow, it's always going to be there. What awakening is really about is understanding and realizing and understanding that ego does exist and that it is always there, so that you have the ability to know when the ego is a useful tool and when the ego controlling is taking control of you, um, and making bad decisions in your life, right? Having control over that ego is the goal of awakening. The goal of awakening is not to completely remove the ego. It is to understand it, to so that you can, keep it from controlling your emotions and your thoughts. And that's what awakening really is. So that, anything beyond that is just it's nonsense. It's excuse me. It is people who have come from traumatized childhoods who are seeking to play out this power fantasy in their heads in order to make themselves feel and look powerful. And that is deep, deep, deep into the ego. Very deep into the ego. It is deep down into the abyss. It's one of the furthest levels of the abyss. Um, it's right above it is right above abuse. Because power, people who seek power, they eventually become abusers. So, yeah. That's the reality of things, and it sucks. And I am very disappointed as in myself, as I said earlier, that I didn't see all of this earlier. I didn't realize it. I didn't, do my due diligence by researching into this further. Um, than I if by researching further into it than I already had. By not taking my time to really deep dive into what the awakening really is supposed to be, rather than you know just jumping into bits and pieces that sound of spirituality that sounded good to me. And I apologize, if you watch some of my earlier videos, if I say anything, that that makes you feel alienated, that makes you feel like you are to blame for for the problems that were, inflicted onto you by other people, or made you feel like you are made you feel bad about having a mental illness that you can't control. I don't want anyone to feel like they are you know a terrible person for not being able to have control over their mental illnesses. Because there's a reason it's called a mental illness, and because it's a uh, it's a divergence of normality, um, that is not in a state that puts people in a state where they have absolutely no control over their thoughts, their emotions, the way that their brain works. Um, and I have, you know, pushed, um, I have pushed forward some of this victim blaming nonsense, and I realize it now. So that's why I'm making this video. To do my due diligence by apologizing to everyone out there, by pushing idea of uh this idea in this spiritual awakening community that is toxic, and that is damaging to people who have been victims and who have mental illnesses themselves, including myself. It is a disservice to myself to be pushing this content, that type of content. Mm, excuse me. I just ate 3 corn dogs, so you can imagine. I'm uh I'm trying not to burp out loud on camera because that's kind of rude. But yeah, anyway, that is my confession. That is yeah, that's what I have to say about all of that. You know. Hey, and yeah, if you did enjoy this video, please leave a like down below. Um, leave your comments down below. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Um, I hope this video has earned your subscription. Um, all the normal YouTube outro things. Uh, and I will see you guys in the next video. I hope next video we can get back into some tarot card readings. Hopefully get back into some more fun stuff, so that we don't have to deep dive into this topic any further than I already have. You know, since I have now that I have um put it out there that I have moved past this egoic part of the awakening community. But yeah. Uh oh, and when we do tarot, when we do start up tarot and oracle readings again, um, it will be more from a fun, uh, more for fun, more for the fun of it, more for the fun, the playful, more from a playful aspect. But at the same time, I will throw in, mental health, things here and there, as I usually do with readings. Um, but it will be, as I said previously, for, mental health, um, from a point of view of a from the point of view of a therapeutic, uh, aspect, rather than from a um, rather than from the spiritual awakening aspect. Uh, more of a philosophical, therapeutic, um, more of a Buddhist type of aspect, you know, because that's where I feel most comfortable right now with. Well, that's where I feel, yeah, most comfortable and most morally comfortable, um, taking advice from. Um, I do not trust, a lot of the awakening stuff anymore. Having done deeper research into it, having done my due diligence. So I'm not going to be teaching from that aspect anymore. Not, well, I won't be teaching as much of it. There's still bits and pieces that I do agree with within the awakening community, but we're not going to be teaching we're not going to be teaching a lot of um what what spiritual awakening gurus teach. We're not going to, we're not going to get into the Eckhart Tolles, and we're not, yeah, we're not going to go down that path anymore. Um, I'm going to be teaching from a witchcraft and pagan aspect, because I do trust that part of spirituality a lot more than I trust this new age stuff. I feel like a lot of it is um a a scam. A lot of it is a scam um to wring out your wallets and to take your money. So yeah, we're not going to be moving forward. We're going to take a different pathway. Like the goddess, like the goddess Hecate and the crossroads. We're going to take a different path. We're going to. I'm also going to get into some more left-handed um, uh, practices and spirituality. I know a lot of people are not really into that. So but it is what it is. I enjoyed the idea of the left-handed path very much, and I think there's a lot to learn from it. But I think there's also a lot to teach people who are in the left hand, um, still, who who won't dip into the other side of spirituality, which is the light side. Um, I think there's a good combination of the two of these that a lot of people on both ends of this, the left hand and the white the white magic end of witchcraft. And all of that stuff all of that stuff is an illusion created by Christianity. White magic and black magic. All that idea is completely fake. But yeah, we'll get more into that in the next video after we do our morning reading. Yeah, and I will definitely be getting more into the left-handed path because I really enjoy it. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.